Welcome back to the Money Script Podcast. It's your host, Yohance Harrison. So happy to be with each and every one of you today. Thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you. We are this close to getting to 10,000 downloads. Only took us 4 seasons, but hey, our journey is our journey. And I thank you. I said this last week, but we've got a few more of them. I want to say thank you to the people that are binging from season 1 all the way to now. I can see you. I mean, I can't see you. I don't know who you are, but I know that you exist and I appreciate you. And I hope that you're getting a lot of good information to help you make better financial decisions, because that's really why I'm here. This is the Money Script Podcast. I'm a financial advisor. I have this available. This is my way of giving back. I want people to learn more ideas about financial literacy, how to make better financial decisions. So I want to bring people from all different walks of life so you can learn about their financial journey, their money script, and some of the things that they went through and how they're interpreting that as an adult and how they're making better decisions with their money each and every day, or at least planning to. Because some of us, we're still going through it. Hey, I'm still going through it. I'm human. And we're going to talk about that human aspect today. I've had a lot of conversations this week about cash flow with clients, and I wanted to share some of those conversations with all of you. It's also tax week for everyone except the folks in like California or something, because they had like floods or they had rain. There was a lot of rain. California is no longer a desert, is what I'm told. But everybody else, their federal taxes are due. So by the time you're hearing this, hopefully you've already filed your taxes or you've at least filed an extension. If you haven't done either one of those, press pause. I'll wait. Well, see, if you press pause, you didn't get the message. So now that you're back, after I give the message, press pause and go do something about your taxes. Call H&R Block, call what's another one? Liberty Tax, call ACPA. Hell, call me. I'll refer you to someone. Get your taxes done. Don't be late on your taxes. There's no reason to be, or file your extension, what have you. I have an incredible guest today. For those of you on YouTube, hey, viewers on YouTube, we like you. We're starting to pick those numbers up. So hey, listen, actually, you know what? If you're listening to this and you're not driving right now, just stop and go watch it on YouTube. I mean, half of you don't even know what I look like. Well, I guess you do because you see the photo, but you haven't seen me in action. And I have Brooke live in action too. You may want to see Brooke as well. So stop what you're doing if you're not driving and go log into YouTube, type in the Money Script Podcast and watch the rest of it on YouTube and give us a like and a follow and all those fun things. So I have a wonderful guest today. This is Brooke. Brooke is a good friend of the Money Script Podcast. She is actually the CEO and founder of Meatless Muscle. Yes, I said it, Meatless Muscle. And she has some muscles. Okay. Do you hear me? She's competed multiple times. She's been helping dozens upon dozens of people all over the world make better health and living decisions when it comes to the food that they consume and how they take care of their bodies. I'm going to tell y'all straight up. I have her in like my top, I don't know what you call it. I guess you do top 5. Am I dating myself from T-Mobile days? But I see her stories all the time, and it's not one that I just flip past. I'm like, oh, actually, this is some interesting information. She just did one just the other day on some of the bodybuilding stuff that you just don't need, and I was like, that's helpful because I'm not going to lie, Brooke, I've got some BCAAs in my cabinet. Haven't done anything with them. They're just there. I got them as freebies somewhere. They were, they hand them. I was like, oh, cool, BCAAs. But I appreciate what you said. It's like if I'm eating enough protein, why do I need BCAAs? It's in the protein. Why do I need to go take extra? It's not giving me any extra calories, So anyways, but I appreciate you for that for Brooke. So ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, Brooke Sellers, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on, Yohance.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So tell me, let's start with Meatless Muscle. I think it's all in the name, and of course I know what you do, but tell the people a little bit about how you started your company.
Yes. So I was super into fitness after just dealing with some health struggles. I had really severe asthma. I was overweight. I was battling acne. And this was, my early 20s. So I'm like, I got to change my life, do something about this. So I started going to the gym, got in really good shape. It became my passion. And then I stumbled upon a documentary on Netflix called What the Health.
Oh,
Um,
I remember that one.
so controversial, but it's so much research you can't deny. And so, the name attracted me. I'm a meat eater at this time, right? So I see What the Health because I'm very health conscious. I watch it. And of course, it's kind of telling you about the dangers of meat and dairy and the industries and how dangerous they are. So I just radically changed my lifestyle after that moment, did a lot of research, decided I just didn't want to contribute to any health and or any suffering of any living beings, and just take control of my health. So I went vegan, but like I said, I was really fit. So I wanted to know how to maintain my muscle mass and still perform athletically, keep my strength up in the gym while also being vegan. That's everybody's big fear is, where am I going to get my protein? Am I going to lose muscle? Whatever. Um, so yeah, I became vegan and I just kind of started figuring out how to do it in an athletic way. And I was a trainer at the time. So I started teaching my clients how to do it. And it just kind of took off when I made my Instagram. And so, yeah, I coined the term meatless muscle. And that's pretty much what it's all about is helping people reach their fitness goals and their health goals without having to sacrifice their ethics and without meat and dairy.
So you are completely meat free. So no meat, no dairy. Does that also mean no eggs as well?
No eggs, no dairy, no meat.
So how are you walking around this planet Earth without the consumption of cheese? I just don't get it.
Oh my gosh, that's a hard
And
one
by
for a
and
lot
by
of people.
choice. And by choice.
Yeah, by choice.
Man,
It's like once you actually know what's in cheese and what it is, like
I
to
don't want to
me,
know. No, I don't
yeah.
want to know. I don't want to know. Don't want to know. Don't want to know. So it's funny that you mentioned about what's in it. So I don't know if I've revealed this on the podcast before, but I was born and raised a vegan and
No
then
way.
vegetarian. Yes. So my mother in the 70s, she was struggling to conceive a child, and similar to you. And she also dealt with some things in her years with some gastrointestinal stuff, and just struggled a lot. However, she did admit that she had a diet of McDonald's hamburgers and French fries, every day for lunch. Because it was easy, it was convenient. So, um, but when her and my father were trying to conceive, they weren't able to make it happen, and they went to go see a talk by Dick Gregory,
Hmm.
who spent a lot of time energizing people around health and what's in our food and what are we consuming, along with a lot of mindset stuff for those of you that are familiar with Dick Gregory. And I think it was maybe a year or two later, they had their final turkey Thanksgiving, and my mother never ate meat again. I was conceived 3 years later, and then two sisters after that. So, of course, with her having the miracle baby, which goes back to my name. So my name, Yohance, Yo. As long as you say Hans and not Hans, I'm good. The name, she actually got it from an African name book, and the name means God's gift. So, of course,
I
me
love
being
that.
her gift. Oh, thank you. Me being her gift, and she attributed the success to her changing her diet 100%. Okay. So we were raised not eating any meat, dairy, eggs, any of that. As I got a little older and my sisters got a little older, I want to blame my father. I think it was him. He really loved Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Mm.
And so every now and then I remember where I would go see him at work, and we would share a pint of ice cream. Yes, we would eat a whole pint together because we couldn't take it home. And then one day I had I had cheese, real cheese. Back now, by the way, being a vegetarian in the early 80s, y'all have it easy right now. Y'all got Whole Foods in every corner. I mean, Amazon owns Whole Foods. You can order it wherever you are. And not only Whole Foods, there's Sprouts, and there's all these other different healthy, and even your local grocer has their organic section, and you have what's the name of the Impossible Meats and Beyond Meats, and not no, we had tofu and vegetables. That was it. Um, so I'm very familiar. So what I'm saying is, as we got older, my parents started to slack off the veganism and more into vegetarianism. So eggs were showing up in our household, cheese was showing up in our household, and I also think it was a little bit of convenience because back then soy cheese was not good. it just wasn't. There's a lot better options now. Actually, we had a friend of the podcast. We have Mishka's Fine Foods. Is that what's called? I apologize and I'm butchering your name right now because I need some more in my freezer. So I have to tell you about it, Brooke. They make they do cheeses from cashews.
Oh, that sounds
Okay.
delicious. That is the best vegan cheese that I've found so far is the cashew because all the other ones, like you said, they're just weird. They don't melt right. So if you want to make like a pizza, like good luck with that. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, now I got it. Now, since I'm in front of my computer, I just got to pull it up. It is. Yeah, Misha. I said it right. No, I said it right the first time.
Misha.
Misha's Kind Foods. Shout out to Misha's Kind Foods, friend of the pod. We're on the podcast, season 2, I believe. And they'll be back on the podcast again later on this summer. So we're excited to get an
Very
update from
cool.
them. They did get some new investors. I mean, it's good stuff. Actually, Brooke, for being a friend of the pod, I'll make sure we go on and send you a little thank you, send you some samples of the Misha's Kind Foods. You're going to love them. They are so good. And you can make anything you can make with cheese, you can use their products to do it.
I love that.
So,
Yeah, I would love to connect with them because I definitely feel like people would like the healthier alternatives and better alternatives to cheese.
so
So that would be great.
one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of people have with eating healthy is the cost. You don't have a dollar menu or whatever menu. I don't go to those fast food restaurants to know them, but you don't have the equivalent of the dollar menu in the healthy vegetarian or even vegan choices. And in most cases, you're actually spending more. I mean, when we go out, as I like to go out in Texas to find different burger places. And of course, I'm also looking, I still don't eat beef burgers. I'll have maybe a slider every now and then if it's the only thing being passed around. I'm not hungry. But I'm looking for the Impossible or the Beyond, especially the Impossible in my opinion is the better version. But I'll see them on the menu and it's 20 or 30% more than a regular beef patty. Or there's this one place we like to go called Hat Creek. Great burgers at Hat Creek, and they have the veggie option. And if I want a double burger, like you would order on the for a double burger that's a beef patty, it's considerably more, almost double the price of a double burger because they charge you basically for a whole nother burger, even though I'm not getting 4 pieces of bread, etc. So I'm just curious, what for you being in the role that you're in and the clients that you work with, how do you overcome the financial aspect of eating healthier?
That's a really good point. And I think this kind of goes back to the way your parents ate in the 80s, right? I mean, you think about tofu, tofu is so cheap. I mean, I don't know if you have a lot of local listeners, but if you go to Kroger, tofu is like $1.69.
Yeah,
So,
that's
you could
true.
get a pack super, super cheap. If you get whole foods, like if you get rice, like brown rice, get your whole grains, get your beans, your legumes, if you're eating mostly whole foods, and a really healthy diet, it is a little bit more affordable, but it's a lot of the processed vegan stuff is on the higher end. So it is kind of unfortunate because it is like, if you want that vegan cheese or the vegan actual patties, that the mock meats, they're almost considered in a way like these high-end specialty health foods, like you go
Yeah.
in Whole Foods and you have all this kind of weird stuff and like you want to try a jar of it, but it's $20, that's almost how the vegan stuff is now, at least that kind of the more processed stuff. So it could definitely be more expensive if you're trying to incorporate those mock meats or the cheeses or things like that. But if you're sticking to Whole Foods, it should be a little bit more affordable. And, hopefully things will change, at least in restaurants. I know Starbucks,
Mm.
there is Starbucks now where they're, at least overseas, the default is now oat milk, which is pretty cool. And you're not
Oh,
charged
that's my
extra.
default that's my default every time, but they still charge us extra here in the States. Come on,
Yes,
Starbucks.
I know.
Come on. Starbucks, I'm talking to you. Come on. Why are you charging me extra for oat milk? No cow had to suffer for that oat milk. It's a renewable resource. Okay. Oat milk. Now I tell you what, oat milk's the first thing Starbucks runs out of in the US. I noticed. They'll be out. I
I
mean, so
bet.
many times I've been, we don't have any oat milk. What do you mean? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. How are you out of oat milk? Everybody gets oat milk these days. Yeah, I realize it. So don't you, Starbucks, I'm putting you on notice. So I want to go back to something you said and just make sure that our listeners understood the difference in what you were saying versus something that I said. So I refer to Whole Foods as a store. Brooke is referring to Whole Foods as in whole, complete foods, fresh veggies, beans, rice, legumes, etc. Not the Whole Foods store. So if you are eating whole, I'll say wholesome foods. There we
Good
go.
one.
Then yes, you can find ways to reduce your costs. And matter of fact, go back to one of our previous episodes with Candy Lowry. She was sharing with how she was living on like $50 a week or something like that on food. And all she was purchasing was wholesome foods. You know, she'd buy a bag of beans and make 4 different dishes out of it, a bag of rice, 4 different dishes, and be able to switch it up with her seasonings. And that's where she did invest. Sometimes you do have to invest in seasonings. And for those of you that do follow Brooke already, or fans that are listening, you know, you see her, she's posting her food. I look at it and I'm salivating like, wow, where is that? Oh, she made it. It's at her house. Okay, can't find that anywhere anytime soon. So tell us, as you know, with the Money Script podcast, we want to learn about money from our guests. So our question for you, Brooke, is what is your first memory of money?
My first memory of money, I would say it would have to be the Tooth Fairy. And I think at this time, I think the earliest one I can remember, I remember we were still my parents. We were in this weird transition phase where we had sold our house super quickly, and we were in an apartment waiting to get to our next house. And we had this kind of like patio with a big door that you could see outside. And I remember sleeping on the couch waiting for the Tooth Fairy to come because I had lost my tooth, and I wanted to catch the Tooth Fairy like flying in from outside. I was like, if I
So you
sleep on the couch, I'm
stayed
gonna
up for
catch
Santa
her.
Claus? Got
Yes,
it. Okay,
exactly.
got it. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think I maybe got like a quarter or something for losing a tooth, and it was the coolest thing ever.
A quarter was the coolest thing ever.
Totally.
That's beautiful. That's so cute. That's so cute. I wish I could do that. I don't think if my daughter were to lose a tooth, she hasn't lost a tooth yet, but if she were to lose a tooth, if I only left her a quarter, she might have words for me. I think she has a better understanding of value of dollars versus coins. Now she gets excited when she finds a quarter, but if she worked hard to get a tooth out of her mouth and then there was a quarter under her pillow, yeah, that might be. And I think there's a Bernstein Bears book that she already read where like the sister got a quarter, but the brother got a
Uh oh.
dollar, and
Yeah.
because the parents were like struggling at the time or something like that. And yeah, she's already read that book. So anywho, we'll see. We'll see how much I have to give up for these teeth. But she's excited because she has friends that have already lost teeth, so she knows her time is
Tooth Fairy's
coming
coming.
soon.
Yeah.
Tooth Fairy is coming. Tooth Fairy is coming. So I wanted um to come back to our current event because I kind of just went past a little bit and talked about taxes, but I mentioned that I wanted to share some of the conversations that I've been having with clients. It's been a bit of a trend this week because we just ended the first quarter. So there's a lot of clients we're meeting. We're looking, okay, how has your first quarter gone as far as your goals and your cash flow? And I've had a few clients that are talking about the struggle that they've had with cash flow because of inflation, because of rent going up, and just because of being human. And the phrase that was brought up in one of the conversations, and I repeated it in some other conversations, and they nodded their head in agreement, is that there's a lot of us right now, especially those of us that are of a certain age that have the ability to enjoy, you know, the fruits of our labor. We sometimes end up with a little bit of FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. You know, your friend invites you to Not only do they invite you to the wedding, they also invite you to the reception. They also want you to be a bridesmaid or a groomsman and the parties that go along with that. Or, it's graduation season. Someone's graduating and there's a dinner afterwards, or a lunch before, or we're going out, or, it's just summertime. We're vacationing, we're going out, we're having fun, whatever it is that's going on. And sometimes it can be very difficult to say no. And what I started to share with some of those clients this week was, you know, a lot of times we feel like we're dealing with this FOMO on a greater level than usual. And what I shared with some of those clients is that I don't really think it's FOMO that you should be concerned about, because the truth is you're actually AMO. You're always missing out. The world is open 24/7. There's always something you could be doing instead of what you're doing right now. There's something you could be doing instead of whatever you're doing while you're listening to this podcast or you're watching on YouTube. Brooke, there's something else you could be doing right now. There's something I could be doing right now. So we are missing out on something no matter what, because whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else. So it's a bit of a Jedi mind trick you have to play with yourself to decide, what is it that you want to say yes to? Maybe you want to say yes to having more money in your bank account. If you say yes to having more money in your bank account, then that means you're going to have to say no to a lot of other things. Maybe you get to say yes to starting a savings plan. Maybe you get to say yes to, just spending some time at home, sorting your closet instead of going out. Whatever it may be, you're always missing out. Don't take it personal. Okay. And if you need to give a message to some of your friends or some of your colleagues, just tell them the truth. Say, look, I'm making some life changes. I have goals that are important. I'm deciding to make some changes to my eating habits. I'm going to work with a personal trainer and a coach to help me make better financial decisions. So I'm saying yes to them. So I have to choose to say no to something else. Or excuse me, you're automatically saying no to something else. But sometimes you have to physically just speak it and say, nah, I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay. So I'm curious, Brooke, when you're working with your clients, and I know you get this all the time, but does cost ever come up as a hurdle to working with you?
Oh, yes, all the time. I would say that's the number one objection that I get from most people. And what I've come to figure out over the years is I feel like it's tough for people to spend a certain amount of money if they have failed with fitness coaching before, and often people do. So I feel like they're less likely to invest in themselves because they just really don't believe in themselves. It's like if
Mm,
I could promise you that you could lose 20 pounds if you paid me, let's say $2,000. There's so many people right there. They do it right there.
you can
You know?
promise me I'll leave 20. Yes, especially if all it takes is your promise for the 20 to disappear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then when people know that they have to stay consistent, they have to change their bad habits, they have to try something different, get a little bit uncomfortable, they're less likely to commit because they just don't know, they don't really believe that they can do it,
Mm,
you know?
yeah. There's so many similarities in fitness, health, and financial health. And let's be honest, people, fitness health is very, very simple. Eat healthy, more whole foods, less processed foods, exercise regularly. That's it. I mean, you can throw, your water intake and macronutrients and stuff into the eat healthy part. In exercise, you can throw weightlifting and cardio and having a good mix, whatever, in that part. But it's just two basic things. That's it. Okay. Becoming financially independent. Really easy. It's kind of three basic things. Number one, you got to have some source of income. Okay. Spend less than you make, invest the rest. But of course, there's all these other components, just like with the macronutrients that go into the food part. There's in the income. Is your income 1099? Is it W-2? Is it both? And what about your taxes? And so, yeah, it can get really complicated when you start to get into the weeds of it all. But if you pull back and just look at it really simple, you're going to need some income. You're going to need to have a budget that's less than the income that you make. So spend less than you make and invest the rest of it. Okay. Eat healthy, exercise regularly. So, but yes, we as humans, we get in our own way all the time. But guess what, Brooke? Here's the good news. That's just job security for us.
Very true.
So we appreciate you, bad habits. You keep showing up for everyone, and we'll be right here to help them bring it back around. So, Brooke, tell us, where can the people find you if they want to learn more about how they can build some meatless muscle?
Yes, you can check out my website. It is meatlessmuscle.net. And from there, you can read a little bit about what I offer, my experience, and you can book a consultation with me there. My social media, my biggest platform is my Instagram, and that would be miss_meatless_muscle. And shoot me a DM if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help you with whatever you're trying to achieve.
All right. Well, I'm going to shoot you a DM right now. So I've got a quick question for you. Let me get a little advice from you. So, give you some context. How old am I? 30 something. No, I'm 40 something. Ooh, see, look at me lying to everybody. I'll be 43 in June.
Woohoo.
I had my dark period where I took horrible care of myself. Then I got my ish together, lost a bunch of weight, put on a bunch of muscle, was in the best shape of my life. And then my excuse is I had a baby. Well, I didn't. I kind of did, but you know what I mean? We had a baby.
It's a dual effort.
It was a dual effort. I didn't want her carrying all that weight all by herself. So I was like, hey, yeah, I'll put some pounds on too. And of course, with the pandemic, I became more sedentary. I actually broke a bone for the first time playing basketball right before the pandemic came. So I didn't go back onto the court. And it is hard to get this little bit of weight back off. I mean, I'm sitting at about, what am I, I'm probably 216, 217. The trouble is my body fat is at 16.5%. I remember when I got it down to like 9.
Wow.
Okay,
That's impressive.
It was hard work, but I enjoyed, but it felt so good. But now it is so hard to move that number. So if you could give 3 tips to a old man like myself, what would you say?
I would say number 1, never miss 2 good habits in a row. That way you can really start building momentum. So for example, don't miss 2 healthy meals in a row. Don't miss 2 workouts in a row. Whatever it is. That way you start building momentum for yourself. And then once you get that going, it's so much easier to stick with it. It's hard for you right now because it's different. It's uncomfortable. You're not used to it. You're kind of just used to, logging off for the day, maybe going home, chilling, not worrying about your workout or getting up when you get up. And, once you start making time for that, you get used to it. It'll be really easy from there. So I would say never miss 2 habits in a row for sure.
That's a good one. Yeah, because I know. So I do good. My goal is to work out at least 3 times a week. 2 of those in the gym. 1 of those either in the Peloton or running. I intend to walk my dog every day. But that's a good point. I think what happens is sometimes, because the idea is to walk her every day, but sometimes I'll walk her and then I'll miss 2 days. And then I'll pick up the other 2. So that was good. Never miss a habit 2 days in a row, 2 in a row.
Because then that after that 2 days you've missed, that 3rd day, it's like you got to make yourself go.
Oh, it's so much easier to miss the 3rd day after the first 2.
Yes.
But if I just missed the 1, I'm like, okay, I missed 1. I'm not going to miss 2. Okay, I'll pick. I appreciate that. That was a good one.
I got
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, again, thank you everyone for spending some time with us on the Money Script podcast. This was very informative. I got something out of this one. I hope you guys did too. This was amazing. I want to thank our guest, Brooke, CEO and founder of Meatless Muscle, for spending some time with us today, telling us a little bit about the quarter she received under her pillow, reminding me that I'm not going to get away with just giving a quarter. I probably have to get like a whole roll of quarters. That might be a little uncomfortable underneath the pillow. And where am I going to get a roll of quarters these days? And anyways, for another day. Let's see. So remember, if you have not filed your taxes by the way, for my US listeners, I apologize, worldwide listeners. I just kind of assume that you all have taxes. Well, some of you do. It depends on where you are. You probably, but I don't know if it's in April. Ours is weird. It's April. I don't know why. But if you haven't filed your taxes, file extension, go talk to a professional, get that done. Remember, you are AMO. You missed out on something. For those of you on YouTube, you missed out watching something else because you were watching us, and we thank you for that. Okay, but you're always missing out on something, and that's okay, because there's always going to be something. There will always be something for you to spend your money on or to eat. Okay, so you're not missing out on Domino's pizza. No shame to Domino's, but you're not missing out when you decide to have some Misha's Kind Foods cheese instead, or the alternative to cheese. And of course, everyone, please tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, share the story with them, get us over that 10,000 hump. I said like 2 episodes ago, it should be this episode. It wasn't that one. It better be this one. Actually, Brooke, I'm counting on you. We're going to do this together. I'm going to give you the update. We're going to crack 10,000 with this episode. Thank you again for spending some time for the Money Script podcast. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.